On this episode of Cape Media News, hundreds of Cape Codders hit the polls a few weeks ahead of time. We take a look at early voting. A big boost for budding local business, a large grant from the state for E4All and Cape Cod young professionals. And the high cost of doing nothing. The Housing Assistance Corporation issues a new report looking at Cape Cod's housing shortage. These stories and more. This is Cape Media News. This is Cape Media News, your local authentic newscast for Cape Cod. I'm Sarah Colvin. Thank you so much for tuning in. Some forward motion for the state's first offshore wind farm. The Barnstable Town Council voted unanimously earlier this month to approve a transmission cable at Covell's Beach that will connect the planned wind farm with the regional power grid. The vote follows successful negotiation of a host community agreement between Vineyard Wind and Barnstable that will enable over $35 million for the town through the quarter-century lifespan of the project. Well, shark spottings are on the rise here on Cape Cod. This week, sharks were seen off Veterans Beach in Hyannis. Our friend Matt Berry captured this video with his cell phone.
All right, folks, we're down here at Veterans Beach in Hyannis, and I don't know if you can see it, because it's pretty far out there. There's a shark in the water, folks. 4 or 5 footer maybe. Harbor Master is kind of making him go away. He was a lot closer a few minutes ago, and of course my phone camera wouldn't start, so I had to restart the thing. And now it looks like there's a coordinated effort to get it out of the bay.
This following an incident October 14th when whale watchers on a boat about 7 miles north of Barnstable Harbor saw a shark feeding on a dead whale carcass. We get this video courtesy Liv Eldridge. Sharks typically begin to leave the area this time of year, and it's rather unusual to see them in places like Barnstable Harbor and Veterans Beach. Election Day may still be in the future, but voters in several Cape towns are taking care of their civic duty ahead of time thanks to early voting. Gabrielle Rawson visited our member towns to find out just how it works and how many Cape Codders are taking advantage of early voting.
It's almost time for the 2018 midterm elections, but you don't have to wait until November 6th to vote.
Early voting is going on here at Town Hall, and that gives all of our residents the opportunity to come down and vote ahead of the November 6th election. Every town and city in Massachusetts, all 351, are doing early voting right now.
It's mandated by the state, and it's just so popular because people would rather not wait in lines to vote on Election Day, and so that's why we're doing it, and it's quite a hit.
Hundreds have already taken advantage of this opportunity.
Wanted to vote early so that we miss the crowds, maybe crowds, and I see a lot of people coming, and it's hard to find a parking place.
We wanted to vote early, make sure we got it done. She has an appointment on Election Day, and we didn't want to take the chance of not being there.
I wanted to vote early so they could get it done just in case something happens on Tuesday and I can't get to the polls.
I voted early to avoid all the lines.
I have the time right now, and I expect there's going to be a large vote, and I don't want to wait in lines. As it is, there's quite a line out there now.
I voted early because I'm being out of town, and I feel it's an important election to make sure my voice is heard.
My schedule changes every week. Every day sometimes is different. You never know what's coming up on voting day or the weather. So I just thought today's a beautiful day to come out and vote.
Town officials are keeping track of turnout, and the numbers don't disappoint.
Early voting is quite popular. We have about 735 people that have early voted so far, and about 535 people who voted absentee already. So for a grand total of 1,300 people at about 6% turnout. So it's very good so far.
We did 352 early voting ballots yesterday, so if that gives you a little bit of an indication, we did 222 the first day. So it's pretty active in there, and we're still doing our regular business of births and deaths and marriages and all the other stuff we do.
Most towns are offering extended and weekend hours. You can find those times listed on your local town website.
In my opinion, the benefits of voting early is you can just skip the lines and you can vote right away here at the town hall. So you have plenty of time to consider and to take in the ballot, and you can vote whenever you're ready within the 2-week period.
I was in and out in 3 minutes. Why not beat the crowds and get here and not have to worry about, your time and kids and all those things that can kind of give you an excuse to skip out on this opportunity. I think it's really important. Everyone has the right and obligation, I think, to vote and have their voices heard.
It's a convenience. Basically, it's a convenience for them. They might have to wait for a few minutes in line here, but it moves pretty quickly.
It was really quick. It's a really quick, easy experience. It amazes me that so many other states have a problem with early voting. It should be mandatory in every state. It really should be mandatory in every state because this is too easy.
Very easy.
Very easy.
All votes collected will be tabulated on Election Day. For Cape Media News, I'm Gabrielle Rawson.
And a reminder that those times vary for each town. Check with your town clerk's office before heading to the polls. And of course, if you want to vote on Election Day, that comes Tuesday, November 6th.
This is about startups, but it's also about small businesses. This is about two organizations that can come together in really unique partnership.
Up next, a big boost for budding entrepreneurs.
I tried Oxy at a couple of parties. I thought I had it under control. I didn't know it'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Welcome back. This is Cape Media News. I'm Sarah Colvin. Small and budding businesses could be a boon to the Cape's year-round economy, and the state thinks so too. Secretary of Economic Development Jay Ash made a stop in Yarmouth this week to hand over a big check to support a new program that helps small businesses get their start. Cape Codders have always been enterprising when it comes to finding ways to make money, but it's not always easy to make a life and build a business here. That's why local organizations have teamed up to work to boost our entrepreneurial spirit and bring life to the local economy. This week, a new partnership between Cape Cod Young Professionals and E4All Cape Cod received a big boost from the state.
We have a tidy sum of $100,000 that will be made available to this unique partnership to help attract more small businesses, more startup businesses to your collaborative programming and help to foster their participation in that program. This is about startups, but it's also about small businesses. This is about two organizations that can come together in really unique partnership. And E4All has been doing an awful lot around the state, but this is the first time I'm aware of a partnership like this with the Young Professionals Association.
Massachusetts Secretary of Housing and Economic Development Jay Ash hosted a roundtable discussion in Yarmouth this week where several graduates of E4All's South Shore Accelerator program shared their stories of success.
And I was doing really well, but I got to that point where my wheels kind of started spinning. I was kind of getting stuck. So I entered the pitch contest, which kind of gave me the confidence to keep moving forward. And then I applied for the Accelerator program, which was the best thing I could have done for myself and my business. They really just gave me the team that I needed to be able to pull myself out of the business and really take a look at it from the top. Entrepreneurship is a really lonely road, and it couldn't have been more true for me at the time. So to have that team of people standing next to you and pushing you forward, it was really amazing.
So about 2 years ago, me and my founders were just a couple hungry post-grad students that had moved back from Boston, and I'd grown to love these big corporate food delivery services, Grubhub, Uber Eats. When we moved back to the South Coast, we realized there's 300 plus restaurants in the area that don't deliver, and we have some of the best food, I think, in the country. So we wanted to change that. So we fast forward now September of 2016, we enter our first Eat for All pitch contest. We win first place, fan favorite, and we realize, you know what? This isn't maybe so much a crazy idea, we can actually do this. So that's kind of what the E in Eat for All stood out for me as empowerment. Like, it really empowered us to take our idea and bring it to the next level.
It makes you feel welcome and like you can also do this. And I think that was probably the biggest thing for me and for a lot of the members in our cohort was the confidence that this program instills into you as an entrepreneur to make your goals a reality and not just an idea.
Ensuring that young professionals can stay and succeed on Cape Cod is an important focus of the program's partners.
Why is it that the young professionals are leaving Cape Cod? They found a couple of things. One was lack of affordable and adequate housing. Another was that folks were leaving Cape Cod to go get jobs. Professional opportunities were off Cape. And that's where E4All can kind of take that challenge.
This signifies a major step forward in creating the sort of business ecosystem that attracts and keeps the best and brightest of our region.
And you've been a strong advocate of entrepreneurship as a way to improve the workforce in regions, whether they start their own businesses or not. This is talent that moves into the workforce and helps in whatever environment they're in.
And local legislators say this partnership is a good start and will help to grow our small business sector.
Some of the most vibrant energy I think that we see on Cape Cod stems from CCYP and their members, who, if you look at the people who, or if I look at the people who I pick up on the phone and call and say, hey, when we have a big challenge in the region, or I'm looking for a creative idea, if you look at the people who are guiding what this peninsula is going to be, that's largely through CCYP. And to now have E4All is great.
And how wonderful would it be for entrepreneurs, engineers, and the idea people, the creative arts people to be able to wake up on a Saturday morning in the spring and the summer and the fall on Cape Cod without having to drive down here. It's a great place to be. $100,000 is a really good start, Secretary.
9 businesses are currently going through E4All's Accelerator program. The next pitch contest is being held on December 6th at Wellfleet Preservation Hall. And while we're on the topic of small business and the year-round economy, let's shift our focus to housing. Many employers struggle finding quality employees because those quality employees struggle finding housing. Housing has a huge impact on quality of life and the ability for young people to make a life here on Cape Cod. It's a vicious cycle that needs to stop. A new report issued by the Housing Assistance Corporation takes a look at the local housing shortage and the high cost of doing nothing.
I mean, this is not a new story, really. For people who have been living this is not a new story. I mean, anyone you talk to who has tried to start a job on the Cape, looking for housing, you know that people jump around from job to job, I mean from house to house. Myself, I've lived on the Cape full time for about 7 years now. I've lived in 9 different places. So you get a seasonal rental, like a winter rental, then you have to, come June, you have to find some place to go. So maybe you sleep on someone's couch and wait for that next year's seasonal rental. So while it's not a new problem, we're definitely seeing this become, we're seeing it getting worse, not better. We see more and more people walking through our door at HAC who are people who have good paying jobs. There have been good tenants in the past, but the homes that they're renting are being sold because it's a good seller's market right now. So they're being sold, and the buyers are second home buyers who are looking to rent it out weekly or use it themselves.
One of the causes that is bringing this issue more to the forefront and creating more of a squeeze of structural problems is the short-term rental market. So with the advent of Airbnb and other types of online short-term rental platforms, it's become a lot easier for homeowners to rent out their homes on a short-term basis. They tend to see dollar signs when it comes to that. And you have more people who are buying property for investment purposes. And so this now we have Airbnb and other companies, aggressively marketing to people to rent on a short-term basis, and so people are now displacing year-round tenants.
I think at its heart, the cause of the housing shortage on the Cape really has to do with what makes it such a great place, is that it's a seasonal tourist economy. We have over 60,000 seasonal homes on Cape Cod, which is a great thing. It's a place people want to come. They want to come here, spend their money, vacation here. So while that's great, it also causes problems for people who live here year-round and are looking for a place to live. So we have 60,000 seasonal homes. Almost 72% of those are vacant most of the year.
If you consider that today, right now, 1/4 of the Cape's workforce is already commuting from over the bridge, which is a huge number, and it's growing. Those people are the core of the customer base for our local year-round employers. They are also the core that is the economic engine that keeps those businesses running. And it impacts their ability to meet demand, to grow, to have reasonably priced goods and services.
We thought about, well, what can we do today that might make an impact? So one of the ideas we came up with was, what if we could find a way to incentivize some of the seasonal homeowners to rent their homes year-round? Again, there's 60,000 seasonal homes. A lot of them obviously are people who are living in them for a part of the year, or some of them are more high-end homes that are investment. They're definitely more of the seasonal vacation home. But there's a lot of homes on the Cape that are sort of your modest home that would be a great year-round rental, and maybe it's a home that isn't really used very much. It might be a home that's been passed down through generations, and family members are trying to figure out what to do with it. So we think there's a pretty sizable number of homes that really could be year-round rentals if people had the information to rent it out, and maybe a little bit of an incentive. So we started this program called Rent 365, and HAC is going to basically pay a $1,000 signing bonus for anyone who's not renting their home year-round who would consider signing up to rent it year-round. And in addition, we'll help the homeowner go through the whole process of finding a tenant, writing a lease. We have a landlord-tenant attorney who has signed on to help out pro bono to work with anyone interested. And we can help set them up with a realtor to find a tenant. We can help set them up with a property manager. Basically all of the things that make being a landlord seem daunting.
The important thing to think about too, when you look at the totality of the problem, and that was a big goal of ours, is to look at the totality of the housing market and the totality of the problem and its impacts broadly on the broader economy, is that when you constrict the supply, it's just basic economics, you drive up the price, and you have more people competing for a very limited supply.
You can read that full report and learn more about the initiatives at capehousing.org. Up next, robots take center stage as STEM Week is celebrated here on Cape Cod.
Today is the beginning of a bright new future for this country.
I won't live a life on my knees.
The voters are coming.
Welcome back to Cape Media News. It's STEM Week here in Massachusetts, an effort to boost students' interest and raise awareness of science, technology, engineering, and math education. Cape Cod Community College hosted a week of events, including Thursday's Robotics Jamboree. Gabrielle Rawson reports.
The future of fun is science, technology, engineering, and math. And what's more fun than robots? Students, mentors, and engineers got together for the VEX Robotics Jamboree at Cape Cod Community College, part of STEM Week activities held statewide.
We have DY, Sandwich, Barnstable, Martha's Vineyard is here, Mashpee. We're really excited for the schools who are here today. We are launching a VEX Robotics regional competition. We'll hold 3 competition events this winter, and we're so excited for this kickoff jamboree.
We wanted to see the robot competition. We got a bus and we have 12 middle school girls who are all interested in robotics, and we're waiting on our robots to be delivered from VEX IQ. And then we're going to assemble them and start competition. Since girls and women are totally underrepresented in the field of robotics and engineering, we wanted to open their eyes to what the possibilities are for the future. And unless they know about it, there's no way they can pursue a career.
A lot of students start here and then they go into the STEM industry. I mean, they can do anything with robotics. So it's basically we're planting the seed in the students to try to get them to continue with their education and go into the STEM field.
The Robotics Education and Competition Foundation provides educational support to STEM programs by providing online resources and events that help educators enhance STEM education in the classroom.
We work on inspiring students one robot at a time. So we basically go into schools and we bring in a competition. Every year there's a new game, so the students get to play a little different game every year. They get to basically design it as they want to. They get to code it. The fun thing is they don't realize that they're learning while they're playing, so that's the fun part about it.
So this is called Turning Point. So the objective of the game is for the robots to go in. They have to toggle these flags to score points. They have to shoot balls to do it. They can drive into them. There's these other objects in the field. There's these caps basically. They need to flip those in order to score points. It's a diverse board. The platform's designed for elementary, middle, high school students. There's a university platform. They tweak the rules a little bit so that there's varying difficulties. They can pick from the parts from the platform. From the educational platform, their control system that comes from VEX, and all the tools they have in order to build for this game.
So we built a Clawbot, and this is our robot from last year. We're building another robot this year for the upcoming competitions this winter.
Part of the competition this year is we get to push other robots off the top platform, and we get 6 points, I believe, for knocking them off. I've always been interested in robotics and stuff, and I thought it'd be fun to compete with robots because I've never done that before.
What I love about building robots is probably the coding. I just have to agree with coding.
I think it's really fun using the robots. It's very creative, and it gives us a chance to explore a different activity that we wouldn't get a chance to do otherwise.
Students build skills in robotics and engineering, and they also build soft skills like communication, collaboration, and problem solving.
They enjoy it. As you can see, I'm sure you've gotten footage today of kids really enjoying the challenges that robotics brings them, and the confidence that they get from solving these problems is phenomenal. It's something they can take with them through the rest of their lives.
The Robotics Jamboree was held Thursday afternoon at Cape Cod Community College. For Cape Media News, I'm Gabrielle Rawson.
Students of all ages took part in hands-on STEM learning, but the week did have a particular emphasis on middle and high school students who are thinking about college and future careers. Time to check your medicine cabinet. If you've got unused or unwanted prescription drugs, you can drop them off for safe disposal this Saturday at any police department on Cape Cod. It's National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. That's an effort to keep drugs out of the wrong hands and out of the water supply. Police departments will accept drugs from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. on Saturday, October 27th. The drop-off is open to all, and it is anonymous. We end with some good news for local dog owners. The long-awaited Barnstable Dog Park is now open. The Cape's newest dog park is located on Finney's Lane in Hyannis near Hathaway's Pond. The dog park is free and open to all. Funding from the Stanton Foundation and contributions from the Friends of Barnstable Dog Parks made this new first-class facility a reality. An official ribbon cutting and dedication is set for Wednesday, October 31st at 3 p.m. We'll bring you full coverage of that event on next week's Cape Media News. But for now, the dog park is open and ready for our four-legged friends. That brings this week's edition of Cape Media News to a close. Thank you so much for joining us. You can stay up to date with us online at capemedia.org and find us on Facebook. For Cape Media News, I'm Sarah Coleman.